Good morning, children. Welcome back to the class. See, in the last class, we were discussing about what are the advantages of partnership business. We just finished till easy dissolution, how easy is to dissolve a partnership firm. Now, let us understand or discuss about the disadvantages of partnership. See, the main disadvantage of partnership is lack of harmony. That is, not at all times the partners who are working in the business can work with the same amount of honesty without any friction. With the same amount of harmony, they cannot keep working throughout the life. So, there often creeps in friction during the after few years of working together. As a result, what happens, they are in a position to enter into mutual conflicts between each other. So as a result, there it lacks the team spirit among the partnership is lost there. In such a situation, okay, they enter into rift and conflict. So this is one of the biggest disadvantage associated with partnership. So lack of harmony throughout the life, you cannot be in harmonious relationship with a person. So again, when one person is dishonest, or he is not true to the business firm, automatically rift arises among them. As a result of that, the harmony is breaking there. So that is one of the important disadvantages of partnership. Next is absence of legal status and instability. Partnership, has no separate legal existence. Okay, it is inseparable from the partners composing it. As a result, it is terminable on the death or insolvency of a partner. See, when you take a sole proprietorship concern, okay, that is also inseparable. Likewise, even partnership also. When one person dies or it becomes insolvent, automatically the partnership firm, one person is two people are partners, one person is unable to continue because of some reason, automatically the partnership comes to an end. Okay, the legal existence is severing there. So it is terminated. So the absence of legal status for a business is not there in case of, so there is the possibility of instability in case of partnership firm. Next is limited resources. See here, for a partnership, it is given that minimum 2 people can enter into partnership, and 10 people can be the maximum number of members in case of banking, and 20 can be the maximum in case of other businesses. In actual practice, you cannot get so much of people. 20 people cannot work harmoniously to accomplish towards the profit of the business. So definitely only fewer members will become the having the like-mindedness or having the same inclination towards the business can become partners. As a result, the resource availability also will be less only. Okay, whoever is able to raise among the partners, whoever is able to raise finance only, they'll be in a position to bring in capital. So unlike the joint stock company or huge corporate companies, okay, the partnership cannot raise huge amount of capital outlay. Okay, so that possibility is not there. But absolutely, the amount of capital that could be raised will be more than a sole proprietorship concern. But when you compare partnership with a corporate concern or a joint joint stock company, the amount of capital that could be raised in a partnership firm is limited only. Next is limited risk taking. In view of the danger of unlimited liability. Okay, unlimited liability, the partner's private property also will be taken into consideration to settle the claims of the creditors. Because of this reason, the partners will be very, very cautious. They'll be overcautious in taking riskful ventures. If any, see, as such, we know that business is totally filled with huge amount of risk only. The more the risk, the more the profit it should reap rather. So the partners will be very conscious in taking the decisions, because whenever there is a flop or loss occurring because of any hasty decision, the personal property of the partners are likely to be under stake. So they will be the limited risk taking is only possible because of the feature of unlimited liability. Next is risk of implied authority. Every partner is bound by the firm, and other partners, see, for whatever the act is which is done by one partner, okay, is bound to affect the name of the firm and other partners. If one partner is acting in a foolish or in a fraudulent manner, definitely it will affect the name of the firm or the reputation of the other partners also. So therefore all other partners become liable to a greater extent because of the folly or fraud committed by the fellow partner. If one partner is committing a fraud, it will ultimately affect what? The firm and other partners also. This is one of the biggest disadvantage. So lack of public confidence. As its accounts are not to be audited, need not be audited, and it need not be published to the public also. So this lacks public confidence. See, a partnership firm, their accounts need not be shown to the public, general public. So it need not be published anywhere. So as a result, what happens is there is more possibility of showing a wrong figure in the statements, legal statements, and the IT auditing documents. So as a result, it lacks public confidence. Public are also not in a position to totally rely the partnership business. So these are the disadvantages of partnership. Next is partnership deed and its contents. What is a partnership deed? Partnership deed, it is an agreement. Okay, it is an agreement. Okay, normally it need not be necessarily writing. They can also orally enter into agreement if they are so confident about the other partner. Okay, need not be necessarily writing. So it is very important, okay, to have a written agreement, because every time you cannot have a harmonious relationship. To avoid any misunderstanding in the future, okay, so it is always better or desirable to have a written agreement. Such a written agreement only you call it as partnership deed. A written agreement which says, which is being entered into by the partners, okay, to avoid future misunderstanding, you call it as partnership deed. Okay, what will a written agreement be helpful for? Okay, it will be drafted. The partnership deed helps in ironing out differences which may develop among the partners. So in future, if there is any difference of opinion, if they have already entered into a written agreement, it will be very easy for them to ensure the smooth running of the business. So it should be written on a properly stamped stamp paper, and it should be registered also. Okay. Next is, what should be written in the partnership deed? What are the contents of the partnership deed? First and foremost, the name of the firm should be mentioned in the partnership deed. And what sort of business are they going into? Going to do? The proposed business also, the nature of the business also should be specified in the partnership deed. Next is the duration of partnership. The partner, see, for example, if 4 people are entering into an agreement, and they have to clearly specify, okay, they are entering into agreement for a period of, might be 5 years, or they are entering into an agreement till the completion of the taken up project. Okay, see, for example, if four partners are entering into an agreement and they are constructing a big mall, okay, the partnership deed could be they will be as partners till the completion of the big mall is done, and or till the handing over of the property to the concerned person. Okay, so the duration of the partnership should be very clearly specified. It can either be for a fixed duration of time, or it could be after the completion of a particular venture. Okay, next is capital contribution. The capital contribution, whatever is made, the capital is to be contributed by the partners, and it must be remembered that that every partner need not contribute capital. Okay, see, for example, 5 partners are there. Okay, only 4% can bring capital. One person, he says he cannot bring capital, but he can give his business talent and skill and knowledge. So every time it is not necessary that a person who is entering into partnership has to contribute capital. Okay, so whatever is the capital contributed by the other persons, okay, should be mentioned in the partnership deed. And people can give their organizing power might be their asset. Their managerial skill might be the asset instead of capital. Next is withdrawal from the firm. The amount that can be withdrawn by each partner from the firm also should be specified, because as partners each one has got the power to withdraw the money from the firm's account. So it should be very clearly specified, okay, what is the amount that could be withdrawn by each partner from the business. That is, you will be learning under the heading of drawings in accountancy. Okay, and the entering of partnership, the addition, a partner entering into a business or a partner leaving the business, all those you'll be learning in accountancy, where you'll have even more a clear idea about partnership firm. Next is profit, loss or sharing. See, the ratio in which the profits or the losses should be shared should be specified in the partnership deed. Okay, so if not at all times the profit can be shared equally among the partners. The profit can be in any ratio. Suppose if there are 3 partners, the profit could be shared in 3:2:1 also. Okay, so it could be shared equally also. Okay, so suppose if it is not mentioned, if the ratio is not mentioned, it is implied or it is understood that the profit or loss is shared equally. Okay, so the profit ratio should be, sharing ratio should be specified. Likewise, the loss sharing also should be specified. If it is not specified, the profit also will be shared equally, loss also will be borne equally by the partners. Next is interest on capital. Whether any interest is allowed on capital. If so, what is the rate of interest? Okay, if the deed is silent on the interest of the capital, the rules whatever is the interest for the capital in Partnership Act, that will be applicable. Okay, a partner has given 1 crore of capital. Suppose if the same thing is being borrowed from outside, from a bank, we have to pay interest, is it? Likewise, if a person has if a partner has introduced an additional capital of some amount of money, what is the interest that has to be paid to the capital also should be mentioned in the partnership deed. Suppose if the deed does not specify the interest on capital, whatever the rate of interest that is being specified in the Partnership Act of 1932, that will be applicable here. Okay, I think children you are able to follow me. Next is rate of interest on drawings. Drawings means any amount which is being withdrawn by the partner for the personal use is called as drawings. Whenever you are withdrawing for your personal use, definitely you have to pay interest for the amount that you have withdrawn. Likewise, the interest on drawings also should be specified in the partnership deed. Otherwise, whatever is mentioned in the Partnership Act will be applicable here. Next is loan from partners. See, already all the partners have contributed to the business and their business is going on. In between, they wanted working capital also. So instead of going and getting from a bank, one of the partner is ready to give as loan. In such a situation, if a partner is lending as money as loan to the firm, what is the rate of interest that has to be paid thereon should also be specified. Okay. Next is account keeping. What is the method of account keeping? Who will be their auditors and what is the remuneration for the auditors? Everything should be specified in the deed. Next is salary and commission to the partners. See, the amount of money which can be taken as a salary or commission by the partners should be very clearly specified in the partnership deed. No partner is entitled to receive any salary, but if the deed says that month after month each partner can be given a salary of this much amount of money, that also should be specified in the deed. Suppose if it is not specified, the Partnership Act does not provide provisions for salary for partners. Okay. Next is retirement. At the time of retirement of a partner, okay, it should be specified at this particular age the partners should get out of the business. Okay, should move out of the business. So proper arrangement should be made how to settle the retirement benefits to the partner, or if a partner has deceased, what is the retirement, what is the benefit that should go to the deceased partner should also be specified in the partnership deed. Next is goodwill. Goodwill is something which is fictitious. Okay, you cannot visibly see that capital, or it is invisible, intangible rather. Okay, if a particular person enters into the firm as a partner, definitely the business, if it is going to increase, means it means that he has carried good amount of goodwill into the partnership. So what is the value of the goodwill during the time of admission of a partner, or at the retirement of a partner, or on the death of a partner? That also should be specified, and you will be learning in depth about valuation of goodwill in accountancy. Next is distribution of responsibility. See, each partner should be given a responsibility, or a job should be given. How should it be given? Based on their ability, it could be divided. That also should be specified in the partnership deed. Okay, that partner A should be is responsible for this work. Any act of irresponsibility, he is bound to bear that. Okay, partner B, is his responsibility is this particular task. So all those should be specified in the partnership deed. Next is dissolution procedure. During the time of dissolution of the firm, or during the time of dissolution of partnership, what are the procedures, or what are the modes of settlement of account should be followed? That also should be specified in the partnership deed. Next is arbitration. Whenever they end up in disputes among the partners. Arbitration means what? In case of a dispute is there, okay, taking it for a settlement to a mediator person who will give a right solution on an unbiased manner. So the deed should provide methods for settling the disputes. In case if there is any difference of opinion among the partners, what should they do? Okay, in case if in future if they are going to enter into a disagreement among their opinions, how can they go with the settlement of their dispute? That also should be given. This clause, by giving this clause in the partnership deed, unnecessary amount of money need not be spent on litigation process. Otherwise, what will happen? The partner who has entered into dispute, they will take the case legally. As a result, huge amount of money should be spent on legal proceedings also. So if such a clause is given, what can be done during the time of arbitration of disputes? They can look into the deed and go according to whatever the deed or agreement they have signed at the time of signing the partnership deed. So with this, we have finished the contents of partnership deed. This is very, very important answer, and quite an easy answer to learn also. What does a partnership deed contain? What does it contain? Contains 16 points. Name of the firm, name of the proposed business should be there. What is the duration of the partnership firm, whether at the end of a business venture or after 2 years or 3 years? What is the amount of capital contribution by each partner? And what is the amount of withdrawal a partner can make from the firm? What is the percentage of, or the ratio of sharing of profit or loss among the partners? Suppose if the partner is if the capital that is being contributed, what is the interest that has to be paid to the partners for the capital that they have contributed? Next is withdrawings. Okay, if a partner is withdrawing from the firm account, what is the interest that the partner has to pay on the drawings, on the amount of drawings to the partnership firm? Next is, if a partner is giving loan to the business, what is the rate of interest that the partner is entitled to receive for the loan that he has given? Next is account keeping, that is maintenance of auditing and accounts. Next, what is the salary or the commission that has to be paid to a partner? As such, the partnership law does not specify anything about the salary to be paid for the partner, but in case if they agree for paying salary month after month to the partners, that also should be specified in the partnership deed. And retirement procedures, at the time of death of a partner or at the time of the retirement, what are the procedures or what are the arrangements of settling of money for the retired partner or the deceased partner should be clearly mentioned. Next is goodwill. At the time of admission of a partner or at the time of retirement of a partner, how do you value the goodwill of a partner? There are different methods of valuation of goodwill that should be specified. Next is, what is the responsibility of each partner? in the firm. That should be very clearly specified. Dissolution procedure. During the time of dissolution of the firm, what are the procedures that should be followed? If these are clearly specified, there will not be any dispute or arbitration during the time of dissolution, or during the admission of a partner, or during the removal of a partner or retirement of a partner. Then arbitration, in case there is any dispute, how are they going to settle the dispute? That also should be specified in the partnership deed. Now we are coming to close. We have finished the partnership deed. Here is the what is it? This is a stamp paper. So a deed should be written and signed by all the partners of the firm. Okay, and it should be written in a stamp paper which should be duly registered. It means that both the parties should sign and should be registered also. This you call it as what? Written partnership deed. Okay, with this we are finishing today's class. Learn for the coming quarterly exam. Very, very important, because the marks that you obtain will be considered as the quarterly marks which should be submitted to the government if they are asking for. Okay, children, have a good day. Bye.